Hi everyone, I'm Meg from RunRepeat, and today I'm reviewing the Brooks Glycerin 17. So I've been hearing a lot of good things about the Brooks Glycerin, and I was looking for a new marathon shoe, so I really wanted to try this out because it's the most cushioned shoe in the Brooks lineup. The Brooks Glycerin 17 has a 22mm forefoot stack and a 32mm heel stack, which gives it a 10mm drop. So the Brooks Glycerin has a double jacquard mesh on the upper, and it has some overlays that run all the way to the heel and then back on the other side. The pattern reminds me of DNA, which I assume is a reference to the midsole material, their DNA LOFT. I don't really dislike the look of this shoe, I also don't love it, but that's obviously personal. There's some slight padding in the tongue and there's a bit more padding in the heel. I like that the heel collar is made out of one piece of fabric and that it spills over the edge here a bit, so there is no seam on the edge here, which other shoe brands sometimes have and they give me hot spots. So I didn't have any hot spots in this shoe. The midsole is made out of DNA LOFT and that's their entire full midsole. It's the softer material that Brooks has, and this shoe does feel soft and plush. When I ran a marathon in these shoes, the first half went really well, but after that I started to get some aches and pains in my feet and in my hips. So I think that's because I'm a heel striker, and eventually the absorption wasn't enough for me to do a full marathon in them, but for the half marathon they did really well. The Glycerin 17 has a rubber outsole and it has actually 7 flex grooves along the forefoot, which makes for a really flexible shoe. I didn't have any trouble with the heel to toe transition. After running a marathon in these, I do see some wear on the outsole, but it isn't that bad. So it's holding up pretty well. I did have some issues with the fit of this shoe. When I put it on for the first time, I noticed that the midfoot is a bit narrow for me, even though the toe box does give me enough room. So I actually bought the wider version of the shoe as well. But I noticed that that would give me more fabric in the upper, but it wouldn't give me any more room around the midfoot that I actually needed. And that actually made me realize that my problem was actually with the Ortholite sock liner that was in the shoe. So I actually switched out the sock liner for one of my Skechers sock liners, and that actually fixed the issue for me. So I now just have the regular width and my regular running shoe size. I also had some trouble locking down the shoe correctly for me, and I had to do some trial and error stuff with it. I also kept sliding in the back in the beginning. Eventually I did manage to get the fit better, but I had to lace it pretty tightly, and eventually that would sometimes create a hot spot on top of my foot because the pressure would become too much. So it wasn't the best fit for me. But maybe that's because I have a pretty wide forefoot and a pretty small heel. And just the midfoot of this shoe isn't that wide. The platform isn't that wide either. It's not as wide as the Ghost 12, of which I like the fit actually a bit better. So I did run a marathon in these, but in the end I didn't think it had enough shock absorption to completely work for me for a marathon. It is a soft shoe, it is a plush shoe. I didn't get any hot spots or blisters during my marathon, but it wasn't the perfect fit for me either. So I'm not sure if this shoe is the best shoe for heel strikers because of that problem, but overall it is a very comfortable shoe, so if you're looking for a bit more of a plush ride, this is a really good shoe for you. So I score the Brooks Glycerin 17 a 8.8 out of 10. I do think it's really good, but it could maybe be modified a bit more for heel strikers, and maybe adjust the fit a little bit more so the lockdown wouldn't be that difficult. But it is great for if you're looking for a bit of plush for like a half marathon shoe or maybe a bit further. If you would like to know more about the Brooks Glycerin 17, you can head on over to our Run Repeat website and read my full review.